Okay, good evening everybody and welcome to Musical Stimulants. Brian Fitzgerald's my name. I'm from the law faculty at QUT. I'm a professor of law there and I also work in the copyright area and the internet law area, and one of our projects that we work on and have worked on for the last 5 years is the Creative Commons project, and we're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. I'm going to be sort of a facilitator. I don't want to talk too much. I just want to make sure we get some dialogue going and ask the panellists here to give a bit of an overview of where they're coming from, allow you people to ask some questions, and then we're going to have a performance from James and the Ancient Free Gardeners. So that's going to be the big highlight of the night. So I might ask each of you just to introduce yourself briefly rather than me doing that. So Elliott?
Sure. So I'm Elliott Bledsoe. I'm a project officer with Creative Commons Australia. I work under Brian Fitzgerald. And basically we are a copyright licensing framework designed to look at a more flexible and reasonable approach to copyright, particularly in response to sort of digital technologies and the increasing sort of corporate control of copyright material and kind of the results of that. And in particular, we're interested in looking at how people who want to be able to share their creative content, but not necessarily give it away as a free-for-all, can do that by, putting a free license around it that we provide to be able to make it available for certain types of reuse depending on what they're doing. I might leave that as an intro and we can talk a bit more about that as we go.
We might come back to the how-tos. Tim?
Hi, my name's Tim Price. I'm from Musicadium. I'm the Promotions and Development Manager there. Musicadium is what's known as a digital aggregator of musical content and music video content to online outlets such as iTunes, eMusic, Amazon, Nokia, and soon to be quite a few more. I guess we are what you would say is the middleman that's required by independent labels and musicians to get their content into those stores, and then also to disperse the royalties back to the artists and labels once that has been made. I guess I can explain a little bit more about that a little bit later as well.
We're going to come back to you first, so
too easy.
Leave it at that for the moment. And James?
My name's James Milsom. I'm from a group called Ancient Free Gardeners. I think that's basically the capacity I'm here in. We're a band. We'll be performing a little later on, and so I think that'll summarise best what it is that we are and do.
Okay, thanks, James. We were very fortunate to have James participate as a student with us at QUT remotely. Jessica and Elliott worked hard with to make sure that we could have James work as what you might call an intern or a research student, and he did a great paper around Creative Commons, and we're very happy to see him back here. So, mate, welcome back to Brisbane. It's great to have you here. Okay, Tim, we might start with you, I think. Elliott, you agree with that? We should start with Tim? Yeah, I think we should start with you as sort of a person who's doing lots of stuff with new models around how people are doing things digitally. Elliott, we might then ask you to talk a little bit how some of your ideas in CC works, and then James, talk a little bit about what your band has done just to show people what's sort of been happening. So Tim, over to you, and probably 10 minutes or so, just a bit of an overview. I think most people would like to know, well, what are you doing? What's new about it? How does it impact on us, sort of thing?
Well, Musicadium's been operating now for almost 3 years. So in terms of, and we certainly weren't the first digital aggregator actually operating on Australian shores, but we're currently the only one. So we weren't the first with this model in the world, but certainly the power shifted in the way that bands and labels could distribute their music pretty much when the digital outlets came about, and therefore opened up those routes into those stores where physical distribution of CDs and that sort of stuff has traditionally been very difficult to actually get into, and was very selective about who could actually get their music content into those bricks and mortar stores. The power changed whereby once a digital store opened, there's unlimited, infinite shelf space in those stores. So basically, those stores require content and more content all the time. So therefore, once those distributors open up their doors to take on any content that an artist or label wishes to distribute, as long as it's a certain audio quality and meets their specifications for artwork and that sort of thing, the power really shifted back to the artist and the independent label, and allowed for some pretty innovative models for, and so now you're starting to see the rise of digital-only labels who only use those digital pathways into stores to make the entire profit for their label, rather than relying on the large overheads required to actually print and press physical product, and then also go through the process of you're setting up a physical distribution deal, which can take anywhere up to 30 to 40% and maybe even more of those particular royalties. Whereas now with the digital world and specifically our model, there are other models. We are a flat fee for service model where artists are paying, probably under $100 to get their product into a store. Literally paying for the actual upload and bandwidth, plus obviously our fee to cover our time and that sort of stuff, and then literally making 100% of what those stores return to us. We then pass straight back to the artist, and that was a model that was pioneered by a distributor called TuneCore in the States, and which artists like Nine Inch Nails and Outkast and people like those guys actually use, fairly innovative sort of members of the music community, and what we're seeing with our particular model is that it allows for labels and independent artists to actually be making quite good returns on their actual investment of their time and effort into, and their money spent on recording and that sort of thing, by marketing innovatively. So we've done quite a bit of study and research into actually what is helping those artists actually make sales in those digital stores. And we release that information to our artists and to the public